Well, it is definitely a big honor for me to be introducing His Excellency, our ambassador, because I had the honor to meet him back in Nepal also. So I'm so glad Your Excellency you still remember me. Okay, so very short description about our ambassador. I mean, he's a highly intellectual person. Like his face shows everything. I mean, very charismatic personality. Yes. His Excellency Dr. Shankar Sharma, Ambassador of Nepal to the United States, has a PhD in economics from the University of Hawaii. He was Vice Chairman of the National Planning Commission in Nepal from 2002 to 2006. He has an extensive experience in government, international institutions, and economic research. Before joining the National Planning Commission as a member in 1997, he worked as a senior economic advisor at the Ministry of Finance in Nepal, a senior economist in the Institute of Southeast Asian Studies in Singapore, and a fellow in the East-West Center in Hawaii. He also served as a professor of economics in the Center for Economic Development and Administration at Tribhuvan University, Nepal. He also had hands-on experience at the field level as an international consultant in Laos, Bhutan, and India. He also worked as a consultant expert in a number of national and international agencies, including the Asian Development Bank, the World Bank, and United Nations Development Program. His Excellency Dr. Sharma has published 8 books and many articles on economy, energy, and the environment of the Asian Pacific region, including Nepal. And having said that, I would like to request His Excellency, the Ambassador, to kindly present his PowerPoint presentation on tourism in Nepal.
Thank you, Vinitaji, for a very kind introduction. Distinguished guests and friends, it's my honor and pleasure to be here today with you in connection with the promotion of Nepal Tourism Promotion, organized by American Nepal Association, ANA. That's what we have already heard. Chandanji and also Dhirenji, they have already spoken about some of the characteristics of Nepal. I'm not a tourism expert. Probably I'll be able to do more economic analysis of tourism in Nepal, but that's what I'm not going to do today, probably in some other time. But today I'm going to talk about some of the major characteristics in relation with the tourism promotion of Nepal. Maybe I think we can start from this one. Okay, this is, maybe we can go on the second one. What other people say about Nepal? Maybe I think I have to also see this place. Maybe I'll do this way. Nepal, one of the top 10 travel destination. This is done by Planet Earth. I think this is one of the publications that ranks all the countries and places all over the world. And Nepal has been identified as one of the top 10 travel destinations of the world. National Geographic lists Nepal as best adventure travel destination. In terms of adventure travel, if somebody would like to do that, Nepal has been chosen as the best destination. BBC Holiday, it says 50 places to see before you die, and Nepal is one of them. Actually, they have ranked Nepal in the 30th position. And we are having, just to promote all these things and to have some more marketing and tourism promotion in Nepal, Nepal has declared the year 2011 as the Nepal Tourism Year. So I think there are combinations. What other people are saying and what Nepal is trying to do, it's a kind of complementary. Next one, please. Just to give you some idea, Nepal's area is 147,000 square kilometer, which is maybe 1/5 of the whole of Texas area. I don't know exactly 1/4 or 1/5, but probably I think that's what I guess. So in terms of area, it's small, it's not that big, but it's beautiful. Situated between China in the north and India in the south, east and west. Its capital, as you know, most of the people know, is Kathmandu. Population 25.8 million. That was 2 years ago. Probably now it's about 27.5 million. And now we have the political system. This is a federal democratic republic. That's the country's name now, Federal Democratic Republic of Nepal. Previously, we used to call it Kingdom of Nepal because we used to have the king, but now we have the president. It's a secular state with predominance of Hindu and Buddhist population. We have all kinds of season in Nepal: winter, spring, summer, autumn, and monsoon. Next one.
Monsoon.
It's a rainy season. Tourism products in Nepal. What people would like to see in Nepal? I think we have done a number of surveys and we have asked people why you would like to go to Nepal. I think the Himalayan landscape, including the highest peak, Mount Everest, because that's the main selling point of Nepal. The Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world. And then, as Dhirenji was mentioning about, we have 8 of the top 14, I guess, highest peaks in the world. They are situated in Nepal. The Himalayan landscape, including the highest peak, Mount Everest. Natural beauty and hills and mountains for adventure-based activities like mountaineering. I think if you would like to go for mountaineering, 18,000 feet mountain, we have that, plenty of that, those Himalayas. And if you would like to go 28,000 feet, we also have that. Trekking, definitely, I think for many people, trekking itself is a kind of adventure. Because I'm sure many of us, we cannot go for mountaineering, but trekking itself is not that easy. But we also have very easy places for trekking, half a day, 1 day, and you can spend months and months, but very famous, like the Charles route or whatever it is. I think we have Annapurna, we have Mount Everest. You can go for months and months also, basically. Rafting, I just met a few people in Washington, D.C. They also did rafting in the cold weather, winter time, but that's so fascinating. Jungle safari. Some of the people who accompanied the First Lady, when she was the First Lady, Hillary Clinton, I think they were fascinated by jungle safari, and probably some of you have seen the article in the Wall Street Journal very recently. That is, Nepal is one of the cheapest places to go for jungle safari compared to African countries. And then you get so much, even in Nepal, with less money. I think that was the article published in Wall Street Journal about 3 months ago. Mountain Flight. It's even if you go from one place to another in Nepal, you can see whole range of Himalayas, and they are so beautiful. Religious sites like the famous birthplace of Buddha. Lord Buddha was born in Nepal, as Dhirenji was already mentioning that one, and then Chandanji. And Pashupati Temple, that is one of the major Hindu shrines. And then we are close to India, and in India they have several hundreds of millions Hindus, and they would like to come and visit Nepal too. And so as Nepalese, they also would like to go and visit some of the Buddhist places and then Hindu sites in India too. Next one. Rich culture and festivals. I think there was something written, maybe I think it's coming in the next slide. I'll explain that. There are probably more festivals, more number of festivals than the number of days in a year. Maybe I think we have more than 400, 500. We even cannot count those festivals. So you have, if you go and see the calendar in Nepal, every day is a festival. we also do somewhat. Nepal's main selling points, according to the study, are the mountains, beautiful nature, friendly people, cultural diversity, and adventure tourism. So I think these are some of the things surveyed with the tourists in Nepal. Next one. Nature, I think Mount Everest, I think I already told that. 2% of all the flowering plants in the world are available in Nepal. I think compared to Texas, it's 1/5. But look at the plants that we have in Nepal. 8% of the world's population of birds, that's such species. More than 848 species of birds. 11 of the world's 15 families of butterflies, more than 500 species of butterflies. So I think these are some of the samples collected by some of the research centers in Nepal. Next one. 35% of land covered by forest, 4% of mammals on earth available in Nepal, 20% is protected, 20% of the land in Nepal is protected as national park. We have 600 indigenous plant families and 319 species of exotic orchids. Lush green tea gardens and thick tropical jungles, we can see those kind of things even in Nepal. Next one. I don't want to go to this one because Dhirenji has already mentioned about the 10 World Heritage Sites of Nepal declared by UNESCO, and most of them actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these World Heritage Sites are in Kathmandu. So you can travel to these 7 World Heritage Sites in one day if you really would like to. But if you'd like to spend the whole day in one heritage, just like in one of the Smithsonian Institute, the museum, you can spend probably 10 days just looking at and analyzing and just these World Heritage in Kathmandu. And then out of Kathmandu we have Lumbini, the birthplace of Lord Buddha, Chitwan National Park, Sagarmatha National Park, where the Mount Everest is situated. Next one. In terms of people, we have more than 80% Hindus, about 10% Buddhist, 5% Muslim, and 5% others like Christian, Sikh, Jain, these kind of people. 40 different ethnic groups. So if you go to some of the villages in Nepal, I think you'll be fascinated by the costumes these people have in these places. Very beautiful costumes. 70 different spoken languages, although most of the people, they speak Nepali, but even in the tourist area, most of these people, you'll find people speaking English. I think it's not that difficult. And even in those trekking areas, if you'd like to have pizza, I think it's available. It's amazing. Over 3,000 temples in Nepal. Actually, at one point of time, there was a written book. They have written something like there are more temples in Kathmandu than the houses, but now I think it's very crowded. There are too many houses in Kathmandu these days, but we still have those temples. 1,200 monasteries in Nepal altogether. But if you'd like to really see the Tibetan culture and tradition anywhere in the world, probably the best preserved Tibetan culture is found in Nepal, especially Mustang and Manang, in those areas. More festivals than days in a year, that's what I explained before. Grand and ancient architecture. Next one.